Okay. Hey, everybody. How's it going? Welcome to my very first live um, YouTube podcast episode. I am Krista, the relationship chef, and welcome to the Love Language Kitchen. I'm really excited to be here with you guys. This is my very first episode. I want to tell you a little bit about who I am and what we're going to be doing throughout the course of these podcasts. And most of all, we're really going to have a lot of fun doing it. So I've got some pasta water boiling over there. Today we're going to make a genovese pesto pasta. It is dead simple. It's one of the most traditional Italian pastas. Everywhere you go in Italy, pretty much they've got it on the menu. It's simple. It's got great flavor. It's delicious. It's really good. So I got my water boiling. I'm going to throw the pasta in the water, give it a little stir, turn it down a little bit because you know it's going to boil over if I don't. Okay. Turn down so much. So you might be wondering, what do I mean by the Love Language Kitchen? So there are the 5 love languages that, so many people are familiar with, right? And you can take a test, and I recommend taking a test, you and your partner. But everybody has a different love language, like maybe it's touch or words of affirmation or, a variety of things. But for me, food is very much love language, right? Food is present for every big event in our lives, every single one, for weddings, birthdays, anniversaries, retirement parties, graduation. There's always food involved, right? And it's family and it's food. And I know because for me, I love to cook for people. And if I'm in a group with people that I really love and care about, and I can't cook for them, I feel weird. It's like I gotta do something. I gotta bring some cookies or something, right? It's all about food. And I think that food is going to be the unofficial love language because it's a great way to communicate and connect with your partner. It's a fantastic opportunity to have conversation and to share things. And it's heightens all your senses, right? There's taste, there's smell, there's visual. It's just food is great, and it's a good connecting thing for couples. And so what I like to do is I help people connect through the love language of food on a very basic level, monthly date nights, and you do cooking classes so that you're talking with your partner and sharing, working as a team is great. And on a deeper level, with a more involved program. But my idea for these podcasts is that I want to cook something. I'm going to cook simple things. It's not going to be really complex because these podcasts are going to be 20 or 30 minutes, these episodes, right? In, out, done. Sometimes I'll be cooking by myself, but I really will have lots of fun bringing guests on too, right? So if you know somebody who wants to come on and talk about their relationship a little bit and, cook something quick and easy for their partner, drop me a line. I would love to hear from them because I will be taking all sorts of interesting guests. And the idea is to talk about your relationship, right? The good, the bad, the maybe a little bit ugly, but we want to connect. We want to help people understand their partners better, get to know them. And so for me, my relationship is the center of my world. I have 3 amazing kids. They are the light of my life. But my kids are, how old are they? 19, 22, and 25. They've got their own lives. They don't need mom so much anymore, right? So it's knowing that my partner is my future, because Billy and I will be traveling together and doing things together, retiring together. We will be together till the end of days. So although my kids are the light of my life, they have moved on. Their focus is elsewhere. So my focus needs to be elsewhere because I want them to be independent. I want them to move on and have great lives and do exciting things. And I want to hear all about it. And I miss them when they're not here. But that's what they're supposed to be doing. And my world can no longer be focused on them. I'm focused on myself, creating my own life, having my own fun and doing my own things. And that's where Billy comes in, because we do it together. We cook together. We travel together. We follow Formula One together. We do so many fun things together. And that's how we connect. And connection is so important in a relationship. Hold on, I got to stir the pasta. Okay, looking good. I'm going to turn that back up a little bit because it's not in danger of overflowing. So connection is so important. And, you hear people say, well, we're basically just roommates. We don't have time to connect anymore. We're focusing on our kids and we're focusing on our business or our jobs or whatever, right? And I want to call bullshit to that, because there's always time to put aside for you and your partner to do things together. Always, always. What are you scrolling through your phone, or you're binge watching something on Netflix? These are times when you can do things together. And it is crucial, because if you don't, then when you get to, where I am, and your business is running easily, or your kids are grown up and grown out, you've got your partner by your side. You've got nothing in common. You've created these parallel but very separate lives. And that means that there's not much going on. Oh God, I got a Purelator guy coming in. He might ring the doorbell. Anyways, it might mean that you guys don't have this connection anymore. And that's what I want to help you all avoid. Or if you've made it to that point, let's rekindle this connection so that you guys are happy and content and excited to be with one another. So there's different things you can do. There's endless awkward conversation that's just painful, right? People go to couples counseling and it's like, oh, we have to talk about this. We got to rehash all those old problems. And then we got to sit in the car together on the way home, right? Interestingly enough, couples counseling is the least successful therapy out there. It works sometimes, for sure, but it doesn't work a lot of times. I've been down that road. It was awful, right? I don't want anybody forcing conversation. I want you to have great conversations. And when you cook together, you can have natural conversations that starts to get you communicating again. Hey, can you pass me that? Hey, chop that up. Oh, I don't think we did this right. This isn't working. There's so many opportunities for conversation. And at the end of your date night, you get to sit down to a beautiful meal. Take pictures of your beautiful meal, right? And I'm going to tell you, sometimes you have the most fun and the best memories with the recipes that go completely sideways. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to be a phenomenal chef. But when you step into the kitchen with that intention of connecting with your partner, the magic begins. And you have to set that intention. It's not just, well, I guess we'll make dinner tonight. You do the chicken, I'll do the vegetables. That's not what I'm saying. We have to make dinner every night. Every damn night, dinner has to be made, right? I'm talking about something special, something different, that's putting aside an evening and saying, let's make it fun. Let's make it more interesting. Let's connect, right? A touch here, a kiss there, a caress there. So wonderful when you can do that with your partner. It's just beautiful. Now let's check in the pasta again. Oops. Yep, it's coming along. So I'm going to pull one of these out to show you. The pasta that I've chosen for today, oh yeah, you should be able to see this. It's called Gemelli. And it is Gemelli, loosely derived from the word twin, Gemini. So that, when I'm in Italy, I very often see the pesto served with a Gemelli. It's not done yet. So Gemelli is just a good short pasta. I have always really preferred a long pasta, but I do get the value and the ease with the short pasta. So I just cooked about 1.5 cups of Gemelli in really, really well salted waters. when you're boiling pasta, make sure, please, that you put tons of salt in the water. You're not going to drink the salt. Most of it's going to be poured off. But if you want the salt to add flavor to the pasta, you got to put a lot in. So I've got a small pot over here, and I put about 2 tablespoons of salt. I know it seems like a lot. Funny story. When I was at school, I went to Le Cordon Bleu in Paris. When I was at school and the chefs were doing their demonstration, they would put the salt and pepper in. And a lot of us who were in the class watching, we'd just be like, oh my God, look at the salt. That's going to be ruined. There's no way that's going to taste good. Because to us, it seemed like they were putting a ton of salt in, right? And I can guarantee you, not once, not even one time were their dishes oversalted. So salt, of course, is not great for you in large amounts. But when you're cooking, make sure you put enough salt in something so that you're getting the flavor of it. Add a little bit at a time, and please don't ever use one of these to salt your dishes because you can't see what's going on, right? If you have one of these, shake it into your hand so that you can see how much salt is going in, right? Because when you go like this, you have no idea how much salt is going in. Put it in your hand. Better yet, have a pinch bowl. I have a pinch bowl, is what I always use. It's always by the stove so that I can put it in a little bit at a time, and I can see how much is going into my pasta. So make sure you really well salt the pasta water, and that's pretty much all the salt that we're gonna put in this dish. So next, I want to talk to you about the pesto, right? I'm sure you've seen cooking classes where they give you all these directions and say, okay, we're going to make this amazing dish and it's going to be fantastic. And by the way, if you want to use it from a package, you can, right? And then you sort of feel like a little package shamed if you're not going through the motions to do it. Today, I am going to use pesto from a jar because I want to illustrate how easy this is. Right? I'm also going to tell you how to make pesto, but I'm using pesto from a jar. Now, I got it from Italy, so it's a really good quality pesto. So I will use this caveat that whenever you're cooking something, regardless of what it is, I'd like you to make sure you use really good quality ingredients, please. Certain things are, not a big deal. Certain things are. So when I'm cooking, I'm always going to tell you if it needs to be a really good quality, which ones are the important ones. So if you're making pesto from scratch, super simple. You need a food processor. You need about 2 cups of fresh basil picked off the stems because the stems won't get chopped up. So you want just the leaves of the fresh basil and about 2 cups of fresh basil leaves. You want about half a cup of toasted pine nuts, just plain old garden variety pine nuts. A proper pesto only has pine nuts. About 2 cloves of garlic, or 1 big clove of garlic, 3/4 cup of olive oil, and a cup of grated cheese. Now, this is the important part. When you're using the cheese, you can either use a very, very good quality Grana Padano or Parmigiano Reggiano, a cup of that, or you can use half a cup of Grana Padano or Reggiano and a half a cup of Pecorino. Don't use all Pecorino because it's pretty salty. It will probably give you a very salty product in the end. So half Parmigiano, half Pecorino, or all Parmigiano. Use a good Parmigiano, please, right? Don't ever use that green shaky container stuff that's shelf stable. If cheese is shelf stable, it's probably not great, right? So use a good quality one. The one I'm using, because we will use extra pasta in the sauce or cheese, actually came from Italy, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. So put the ingredients, put only about a half a cup of the olive oil in the food processor. Let it combine, put everything in together, let it combine, chop up. You want it to be pretty smooth, like not smooth like butter, but smooth like chunky peanut butter almost. And you may need to add a little bit more olive oil as you go until you get it very smooth and fluid, not runny fluid, but so that it's circulating really well in the food processor. If it's too dry, it won't chop up properly. Then put it into a container and put a layer of olive oil on the top. That helps with the oxidization of the greens and the garlic and just keeps everything super fresh. This can be kept in a sealed container in the fridge for a month or two, and you can also freeze it. A lot of people like to freeze it in ice cube trays so that they can just take one out at a time and it stays super fresh. The basil will stay really bright green. It's lovely. So I'm going to take the pasta off now. The pasta is done, as you can see. Let that, oh, bird. I know I was going to do that. I was supposed to keep, this is Crystal 101, keep aside about a half a cup measure of pasta water so that you can use it to loosen up the pasta if you need to. I forgot to do that. I knew I was going to do that because I'm chatting away with you guys. But before you drain the pasta, keep a half a cup of pasta water. Now, what I will do is run a little bit through and I'll just have a little bit of water there. It's going to have to do. So we've got the pasta cooked. I'm going to bring the pot back. I'm going to put the pasta into the pot. Like I said, this is super easy. Put the pasta into the pot. I'm going to take my pesto, genovese. I'm going to put a good dollop of pesto in there. You can play it by ear, put a little bit at a time, and if it's not enough, put a little more in. You want to make sure that the pasta is well covered because this is all you're going to have for sauce, right? So I've got that. You can see the oil on the pasta and a little bit of pesto, but that's not quite enough, so I'm going to add some more. There we go. And this has, oh, you can smell the basil smells amazing with a little hint of garlic and the cheese that's in the pesto. Oh, it's fabulous. You can see it's this really nice green color. Now, the pièce de résistance. I'm all about the cheese. So my daughter and her boyfriend were traveling through Europe. They went to Croatia and then they went to Italy and up to France and met up with their mom. That's me. But when they were in Italy, because my kids know me so darn well, they went to a place called Casa del Parmigiano in a market in Genoa, and they bought me this amazing chunk of Grana Padano or Reggiano cheese. Oh, it's a 36-month age, so amazing. And they got it when they bought it. They vacuum sealed it for them, and they brought this to me. And I've been doling it out a little bit at a time. And I'm heading off to Italy in a week and a half. So I will be going to that market and buying more of this cheese to bring home because it is so special. And my chunk is getting smaller. And I'm going to be very sad when my chunk is gone. So put some cheese in it because everything is better with cheese. And it turns out I don't have to use any liquid on this. It's come out really beautifully. So I've got some extra cheese on there. I've just tossed the pesto in. It's fabulous. But sometimes it's really dry. If it's dry, that's when you want to add a little bit of the pasta water, which I so happily dump down the drain. And then you just put it in the pot, in the bowl, and serve it like that. Serve it with a really good quality crusty bread. Makes it absolutely delicious. You can garnish it with a couple fresh pesto leaves. I'm going to move these. Oh. And I'm going to just grate a little cheese on the top. You can garnish it with some fresh pesto leaves or fresh basil leaves, which makes it really nice. Makes it super delicious and very pretty because the leaves are so bright. Maybe I'll do a little pesto class because I have done different variations of pesto over the years. And it's something that you can use for a lot of different things. If you use jarred pesto, which I have, it makes an absolutely delicious pasta. Just make sure that you're using a good quality pesto that you buy in the store, right? Make sure it doesn't have a ton of additives. It's got fresh olive oil. Another thing that I want to talk to you about is olive oil. Olive oil is very important. Olive oil is the juice from an olive, and the older it is, the less delightful it is. So try and use a fresh olive oil whenever you can, whenever you're making these things. The ingredients make a difference. So here we've got a super simple pasta. It really took me all of, 10 minutes to make this, and it's delicious. And it's something that you can make with your partner like that, right? You want to do something, hey, let's just do this quick and whip it up together and share these moments in the kitchen and be intentional and set the intention that you're going to talk, you're going to connect, you're going to have fun together, because your relationship is so critically important in your life. It's like my relationship is important in my life. I will do everything I can to preserve my relationship because Billy is the most important thing in the world to me going forward, right? So that's all I have for you today. We've got the pasta. We talked a little bit about relationships. I will see you next Wednesday at the same time. Now, these classes will not always be live. Sometimes they will be recorded and then put in, but they'll always show up at 1 o'clock Eastern time on Wednesdays. And if you know any guys who want to come on with me and cook virtually, of course, side by side, learn a little recipe and talk to me about their relationships, that would be awesome. I would love to have them, and you can reach out to me. I would love to see you on Facebook. Just look up my name, Krista Melanson, and let's connect. If you want to find me on Instagram, it's at the relationship chef, all one word. And I look forward to connecting with you. Take care. Have an amazing day, and I'll see you in the kitchen.